Nigeria's ICT sector, information communication technology, is valued at about 17 trillion naira, 11% of gross domestic product, and has grown at an 11% year-on-year average over the last 7 quarters. Has a lot of potential, and this has been captured in a report from Verraki Partners, in a new report which looks at the 7 major growth drivers for Nigeria's digital economy in 2022. Joining us to discuss further from Ottawa, Canada, is Chigozie Muogbo, Head of Research and Intelligence at Verraki. Chigozie, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. First off, how would you...
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. How would you describe Nigeria's digital economy ecosystem? We've got a chart from your report here. How would you describe it?
All right, thank you for that question. So it's important to first of all understand what digital economy entails. So this is an interaction of economic relationships that are powered by technology, that are powered by ICT. It is the bringing together of factors of production. You power them by ICT, and then that leads to value creation for the people, for the businesses, and then for the government. So you asked why or how Nigerian economy has made progress in terms of digital progression. I think we've done quite well. And along the line of this conversation, we will look at bits of how we've evolved around fintech, around 5G, around digital enablement across different sectors.
Great stuff. Yes, thank you for mentioning 5G. It's one of the drivers in your report. You mentioned the commercial rollout of 5G. How much of an impact can that have?
Indeed, 5G is transformational, and the whole world is waiting for a full commercialization of 5G. The most important part is the use cases to which 5G can be deployed, and the fact that it has the lowest latency so far and the fastest speed so far. So it is going to be really transformational around different sectors: health, finance, transportation, logistics. These are areas where 5G has shown to be indeed transformational across the value chain. Imagine if you are able to download a file over a minute, and now you can do that in microseconds. This is indeed something that everyone is looking forward to.
There's still on the 5G matter, there's a clip I'd like for you to listen to from a prior interview we had on, I think, 5G adoption in Eastern Africa. Let's take a listen to that.
I think it's about a need to have and a nice to have. People need good quality internet. 5G provides great quality internet, but of course, 4G is great. I mean, a good quality 4G network is perfect for most people. I rather focus on making that widespread rather than selecting few cities to start building new networks.
Well, what's your reaction to that as far as scaling of 3G, 4G, 5G in Nigeria right now?
Okay, Miwa, that's my friend Fisayo. Nice perspective he has. I think the interesting thing I must say is that we are playing a catch-up game. Nigeria is playing a catch-up game when it comes to ICT and when it comes to digital development. And I mean, you cannot play a catch-up game, running not running on the fastest available machines and platforms and technology. So, in as much as we are yet to fully utilize the previous or the existing broadband technology about 4G and 3G, we cannot in any way afford not to explore the possibilities that 5G provides or the 5G provides in terms of catching up. So I mentioned earlier about speed and latency. And one of the things I must also say is that the country, I mean, it is obvious, we will ride on the existing technology. We will ride on the existing backbone infrastructure that 4G provides, and then use that to drive 5G. Basically, that is what's going to happen, and it is the most logical thing to happen. It's the most cost-effective thing. In fact, 5G is designed, is scalable. It's not an entirely new system, so to say. It is scaling the existing, solutions in that space.
Thank you so much. Your report mentions digital entrepreneurship as one of the triggers. Digital entrepreneurship growth in Lagos and Abuja as another trigger. What about other cities in other states outside Lagos and Abuja?
Well, it is actually a wake-up call to people, to governments outside Lagos and Abuja. The world is changing, and there are opportunities for you to create an enablement, to create an environment that is conducive for businesses, for digital entrepreneurs to thrive. I mean, there are opportunities, right? Look at it this way. Imagine if we have digital clusters, at least one in every region, right? That is going to be transformational. So this is for, around the country, people are clamoring, the youth entrepreneurs are clamoring to have an environment where they can unleash their potentials. Investors are also asking for the same. So when government creates that platform, then businesses thrive, capital will flow. So for other regions outside Lagos and Abuja, this is the wake-up call. Provide the infrastructure, provide the enablement, provide the policies, support businesses, and then see how digital entrepreneurs will make magic in your state. And obviously, that also extends to the concept of competitiveness around states. The game is changing, and the earlier the state governors and the policymakers realize this, the better they jump on some of these opportunities and make the best for the Nigerian people.
And you also mentioned digital skills as another trigger. What impact can that have, and how do we grow those needed skills?
That is another area where we are very passionate about in terms of the progress that we've made. Indeed, within the space of 10 years, Nigerian has been able to amass good enough digital skill for businesses to utilize in order to develop. At the upper end, you have manufacturers producing systems, and at the lower end, you should have people that are able to understand these systems and be able to use it. It is similar to one being in France and you don't understand basic French. So what this means, in essence, is that it is a necessity, and the Nigerian people, the government, employers, employees, everyone understands this. Even the users, the market women on the street understands the fact that I need to be able to operate a smartphone. I need to understand what USSD means and how to press some codes to do some transactions. These are the new normal. And indeed, we've made progress. I must mention at this point that there are some local educational providers that have made good progress in this space. Talk about Decagon, talk about so many of them. So we must encourage them. I mean, they are producing skills that we need to run this digital economy. And I must also sound an alert. I mean, labor has become increasingly globally mobile. So we must make sure that we are not training digital skills only for other countries to hire them, especially now that we have remote work. So that is also an area where we must pay very good attention to. So as we train these skills, we must also be able to equip them for them to be able to function locally and create value for the economy.
Great stuff. Identification. Your report mentioned the national identification number, the SIM merging, from the ICT ministry. Well, how much of a trigger is that?
So much of a big trigger. Low baby steps, but surely the right direction to go. We cannot make much progress on the digital side of things without having a database a trusted database where you can go if you have access and you have trusted information of anybody you're doing business with. So what we want to see, or we hope to see in the near future, is an integration of all the databases that we have in the country. And this obviously has to be driven by the government. So if we are starting from linking the SIM to the NIN, it's a good thing. It's a very robust database. I mean, if you've gone through the NIN, registration, you would agree with me that it's very basic and very foundational, and it's scalable, right? And I understand also that it sort of integrates with so many other databases, including the BVN. Look at how BVN transformed, financial inclusion and financial transactions in that space. And obviously, that was part of what FinTech wrote on to blossom, and even on the credit side of banking as well. So this is critical. By the time we have these databases synchronized, then it adds up to building the digital capital that we need to scale.
About a minute ago, I want you to talk about a digital government. We've got some images of Vice President Osibanjo in his 2018 visit to Google, I believe. So what role does the digital government play in all this?
Well, so we looked at that space, and our opinion is that the government cannot afford not to move with the tide, right? Not to move with the trend. So it is important because there are a lot of inefficiencies in the system that technology that solutions already exist. There are existing technologies to help iron out the frictions in public service. So it is high time governments jump on it. A low-hanging fruit, for example, is the fact that we've seen that some processes in government can actually be digitized, especially when it comes to decision-taking. Just about 20 months ago, when COVID came and lockdowns came, the government was still running. Critical decisions were taken through digital platforms, right? Engagements were still ongoing. The government was practically running. Businesses were able to engage with the government. Government was able to engage with the people, and the results were quite impressive. So what it means is that even the people that work with government also have that capacity to even relate with these solutions and make the best out of it. So it is now for government to come out and say, hey, I think the game has changed. We need to embrace these solutions to build efficiencies around the services that we deliver to the Nigerian people.
Great stuff. Chigozie Muogbo, Head of Research and Intelligence at Verraki Partners, thank you for taking us through your report, which looks at the 7 triggers for digital growth in Africa's largest economy, Nigeria, for the year 2022. We appreciate you talking to us all the way from Ottawa, Canada, very early over there.